Welcome to the dvm365. Give us 5 minutes or less and we'll update you with the veterinary news, medicine, and business information you need to know right now. I'm dvm360 Assistant Editor Steve Bennaka. In this edition of The 5, we hear about the gut-wrenching prospect of employee theft, get an expert opinion on the veterinary profession's crisis readiness, and learn of a new coalition of industry authorities aimed at thwarting decreasing client visits. First up, the news. When it comes to purchasing veterinary drugs online, buyers should beware, says the Food and Drug Administration's Center for Veterinary Medicine. A recent consumer alert from the agency warned consumers that, while some websites selling veterinary drugs represent legitimate businesses, others do not. In fact, FDA regulators have documented unscrupulous actions relating to the sale of unapproved, counterfeit, or expired pet drugs, in addition to other questionable practices. The consumer alert outlines the important role veterinarians play in evaluating the need, use, and safe dosages of veterinary drugs for dogs and cats. Leaders in veterinary practice and industry plan to meet in November to address the trend of diminishing client visits. They want to build a broad coalition from across the veterinary profession to develop new ways to improve pet health and boost the number of times pet owners take pets to see their veterinarian. John Payne, CEO of Banfield the Pet Hospital, says the time to act is now. With the U.S. economy in transition, Payne says the industry must evolve and an active, united front is necessary for the continued health of the field. Everyone knows that employee theft is a problem at someone else's clinic. But what if you suspect someone is stealing from your hospital? Here, practice manager Brian Conrad describes a situation in which his cash drawer and his trust were taken advantage of.
It became very evident that we had somebody walking away with cash. And so at that point, we did decide to place a camera that was aimed in a public area next to the cash register. And sure enough, about 7 days later, I get a call from our bookkeeper explaining to me that the cash drawer is off again. And so I went in and I pulled the tape from the camera, and I'll never forget it. It's not a fun thing to deal with. And I can remember going home and putting the tape in the the VCR back in 5 or 6 years ago, and fast forwarding to the day's events and actually seeing the employee looking around and grabbing the cash out of the cash drawer, slipping it into his pocket, and again looking around, closing the drawer and walking off. And my stomach literally sunk. I mean, again, back to that trust. You have so much trust in your employees, and you work so hard to make them successful and reward them, and to see somebody really going behind your back it was very discouraging.
Watch dvm360.com for Veterinary Economics' special package on employee theft in the next few weeks. Doctors Jerry and Nancy Jacks recently took part in a biosecurity symposium in conjunction with the CVC in Kansas City. Though there have been changes since 9/11, Dr. Jacks says the U.S. would receive low marks for disaster preparedness.
It is very obvious that we're not really prepared for a significant disease outbreak. We have, hospital beds are down. Most hospitals don't have adequate personal protective equipment to respond to a serious disease outbreak. We don't have countermeasures to, many very serious potential organisms, countermeasures being vaccines or treatments that would be effective. And so I think it's one of the reasons that we see so many new facilities being built, and these are to develop these countermeasures because they're so important within the national context of helping to protect our populations, or in the case of agricultural diseases, to protect our agricultural infrastructure.
We hope you've enjoyed this edition of The 5. If you have suggestions for future shows, email us at dvm360@advanstar.com. And for the latest news, medicine, and business information, be sure to visit dvm360.com every day. Leaders in something just flew into my face. Unscrupulous. Okay.